All right. Let's get this out of the way first. The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed on Tailboard Talks Firefighter podcast are solely those of the speakers, guests, and host, and do not in any way represent the thoughts or views or opinions of any other employer, partnership, or sponsor. The material and information in this podcast is for general information purposes only and should be used at the listener's discretion. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tailboard Talks Firefighter podcast. My name is Chris from 4th Shift Firefighter, and we're here in the office again today with a new microphone. Not because I wanted to, but because, you know what? The kids were doing something so cute the other day. Legitimately, it was cute. I walked in the office, usually lock it just because the computer's in here and the cameras are in here, and they were having their own radio show. They were telling spooky stories into the microphone. I thought, man, that's so cute. And it was, until about half hour ago when I went to go plug in the microphone and all the connections are destroyed. The USB cable that goes into my little card reader here is destroyed. The connection on the back of the microphone is wrecked. Man, was it adorable and expensive. So trying out this new microphone today. Now that brings me to supporting the show. Thank you for all your support so far. Thank you for checking out the Buy Me a Coffee button and my affiliate links. And so let's talk about those real quick. Don't worry, it's not going to be a long commercial at all. Rescue One CBD, 0.000 THC, safe for the job. Awesome company, awesome dude out there in Florida putting the stuff together. Did an episode with him a few ago. Go check it out. Affiliate link on the website, 4thshiftfirefighter.com, 4thshiftfirefighter.com with the discount code for you guys. Check them out. The second one is Fourth Frontier. They make the maker of the X2 heart rate monitoring strap, the only heart rate monitoring strap in the industry that gives you lead to EKG. You can do a live look-in if you're wearing the strap. Also, you can hit the record button to record your workouts and then look back, and the whole time it recorded lead 2. So if anything silly happens there, you can go back and look at it. It's also cool for seeing spikes in your heart rate and kind of backing that up with the lead 2 stuff. Third part of it is go to the Buy Me a Coffee button on my website, 4thshiftfirefighter.com, and just say, hey, sorry about your microphone. Here's $3 to buy a new one because I really don't like this one that I'm using. It's not my thing, but I'm using it for today. I'm going to make it sound good, and here we go. All right. Today I want to talk about hangovers and, not the alcohol ones because we all know about those probably, but same thing. You drink too much, you're destroyed the next day. Maybe the next 2 days, maybe if you're like me, the next week and a half. Same thing can happen with effort. And we have some parts of the fire service that require a lot of effort. The two that come to mind first, where we see the biggest hangovers in the fire service, are after probationary year is up, you got a probation, you got off probation, you did it, good job. And also after a promotional testing process, going for lieutenant, captain, whatever above. There's this period of time after those events because you poured so much effort into it. It's like running marathons. It's like drinking too much. It's like doing anything that's super intense where you're like, I don't want to read another book. I don't want to do another task book. I don't want to take another note or outline another chapter. I don't want to look at my running shoes for the next month. I just want to do nothing, right? And that is a super duper normal, expected, and relatable and very real feeling, right? But it also, you got to mitigate that. You can't just live in that space forever, which I've seen happen. You get off probation or you get up through promotion and your crew sees you relax and they're not a bunch of go-getters and they just let you sit in that low state and now you're in trouble 4 months later when you got no inspections done, your training records are crap, right? Or you get off probation and you were this go-getter because you had to be and now you don't have to do nothing and your wheels up in the recliner for the next 4 months and the bathrooms are dirty and now your officer hates you because you were just BSing your way through probation. Now you have to make yourself back from that. That little hangover period is a real thing, like I said, but it's also really, really mitigatable and helpable by taking a few steps. I'm going to run through some stuff here, and also your crew can help. So if you have someone going through probation or going through a testing process, got some tips for you guys too to bring that person back in from the cave they've been into for the past 3 months, right? That period is weird though. Like you'd think that, and I remember going through myself and also talking to guys at test, you'd think that you would feel like this overwhelming sense of relief. Like you made it, you did it, everything's great, I'm happy again, I can go do the things I want to do. But like you take the test, you submit it, you get your score. Whoever's run the spreadsheet tells you where it ended up, and then you go back to work or you go home and you have this like super awkward, restless, uneasy, unsettled feeling, almost a letdown, almost like anticlimactic, almost like I put all the work into it and nothing's changed. Still got to take the trash out. Still got to mop the floor. Still got to do all the regular stuff. Somebody's still going to call you in 10 minutes for an ambulance call. You still got to do fire alarms. Nothing really changes. So it's this giant event that should be this watershed moment, and then you're just back to reality with a lot less stuff to do and a lot more time on your hands. It's not like this big pinnacle that you might think of, like anything. It's just something that you did, right? And that can make you feel even more weird when you're like, well, if I don't feel like it's that big of a deal, and I don't feel like I really did anything, I probably shouldn't sit around for the next week. But man, I feel just exhausted, and all I want to do is sit around and for the first time in 3 months or a year, I just want to watch a movie with the crew. Like, is that too much to ask? But there's a weird sense of guilt and uneasiness that comes with that stuff. So we're going to talk about that, right? Now, one of the biggest things I can tell you to help you mitigate that hangover happens during the process, and that's mapping it out, making a timeline, planning out your actions, and really understanding that the bulk of your learning and the bulk of the good stuff is going to happen in the first 1 to 2, maybe 2.5 months before your promotion test, or in the first 6, 8, 9 months before your end of year probation thing. Just like running a marathon, just like doing any kind of strength event or physical fitness thing, the last week is not where you're going to make up ground. The last week is I shouldn't say that. The last week is not for these big giant leaps, right? The last week is for polishing, resting, recovering, putting the final little touches on, like I said, polishing the diamond, but the work has been done months before that. So planning out and knowing that, like, okay, I have 1,100 pages of material to cover for the written, and I have 5 possible scenarios to do for the assessment center. If I map out 50 pages a day or 30 pages a day plus this much of an assessment center thing a day, that'll lead me up to be completely done with everything and wrapped up 3 weeks before test date, and then I can just polish the diamond after that. That also lets you build in breaks and days off and time off in there. Instead of saying, I'm just going to read everything I can the first month and hammer it, and I'm going to have no days off and just go for it. Then you're stuck on a nice day when it's Saturday and it's nice outside and your family wants to go for a bike ride. You're like, well, I can't. I think I have to do more because I didn't plan. Instead of saying, no, I did my 50 pages this morning. I'm going to do, the other assignment tonight. So yeah, I have all day to go hang out with the family. So structure yourself out. Get a timeline. Talk to someone who's gone through it and get a feel for what this process is like so you can pace yourself along the way, which will help you not have this giant peak of effort and then a giant letdown in a month or two when it's all done. All right. So that's number 1. Plan it out, map it out, pace it out, stick to the plan, right? Don't get freaked out just because you have the dates approaching. Nothing changes just because the date's getting closer. Stick to the plan, get your stuff done, feel confident, and then do well on game day. Okay. The second one is have a plan for after. This thing has a date to it. Whether you're going through probation, whether you're going through the testing process, it's over on X date. That's it. There's no more. I mean, there could be more, but there's no more. There's an end date to it. So think past that date. Have something to do that you enjoy doing after that date. The problems come into play when we just do nothing. We went through this huge mountaintop of effort, this huge peak of output, stress, being overwhelmed, everything, and then you submit your test or you're under probation and it's like, bonk, now what? Nothing. Avoid, right? And we said it before on here, nature abhors a vacuum. It'll fill negative space, or it'll fill a void with negative space. Give yourself something to look forward to. A vacation, a trip, a project that you want to start, getting back to hanging out with the guys watching movies, getting back to eating meals with them, getting back to taking your family and going on bike rides. Have something specific that you're looking forward to that you haven't been able to do because you've been pouring yourself into this project that you can plan for afterwards. Otherwise, you're just going to sit around feeling uneasy and restless and hoping that something good comes along that you can do. So plan it out. It's got an end date to it. Think past it. Plan it, okay? Take a vacation day, do a Kelly day trade, move your days around, give yourself a little breathing room. So here's the other part of this. I don't want you to avoid this hangover. You got to go through it, okay? It's going to happen. And it's actually a sign to me, if someone has a hangover after something like this, it's a sign that you put in a huge amount of work, which I appreciate. if you go through the process and go through probation and check the boxes and go through the test is no big deal and every day is just like the next, totally acceptable. You can totally do that, I guess. But somebody having that refractory period afterwards, that I need a minute afterwards, tells me that they put in a large amount of work, and I appreciate that. Even if I don't think the person is a good fit, even if I don't think they might be great for that position, I appreciate that they're willing and able to let their guard down, put their ego aside, not be afraid of failing, and dig in for the time period they need to. And I think that's commendable, right? But you have all these things that I'm kind of losing my thought here. I looked away from my notes. I always do it. I got down a tangent, and now I forgot where I'm going. I'm jumping back on. You know what? Complete that thought in your head. Wherever you thought I was going with that, that's what I was talking about. Complete that thought, okay? Have a plan for after. Enjoy it. That's what it was. Enjoy the hangover. It's a part of it. It's all good, right? And I'd rather see someone finish a process and have a hangover. That tells me they put in the work, as opposed to like, I just skated through this thing. It's no big deal. Why would I need a break? It tells me like, well, you really didn't take this that seriously, did you? The next one's kind of a caution, okay? If you're taking a promotional test or if you're just nailing probation, you're a go-getter, right? And I appreciate that, like I said. In that time period after the thing concludes, you're going to feel like, well, I have to do something now. I just spent months of my life totally immersed in this thing. I got to pick it up and keep the pace going. The danger is an opportunity or an offer or something might come along that you don't really want and you're not really interested in, but it's here and it's now and I got to keep moving, so I'm going to do it. Bad move all around. Just because something's available at that time doesn't mean that's the time that you should get involved with it, okay? The last point I want to put in here is enjoy it. And I think I've covered this kind of peripherally just talking about that stuff. But enjoy the fact that if you ran a marathon or you did a long bike race or you did a fitness competition and you were sore and tired the next day, you would consider that like, I really gave it my all. I really did a good job. There's feedback to that that's physical that you're like, wow, I tried really hard on that and I beat my time and my legs are just trashed, right? You can equate that to the same emotional and mental hangover you have after this big event. Man, I must have really dug all in and I did as much as I could and I left no stone unturned and I left it all on the field. And I did everything I could to give myself the best possible opportunity. That hangover is indicative of the effort you put in. So enjoy it and congratulate yourself on it. And like I said, even if I don't think you're the best fit for it, I'll congratulate you on the effort you put forward to get through that process, okay? Now, from the outside, just real quickly, if you have someone going through probation or have someone going through a promotional exam, there's things you can do to help them through that hangover. I mean, think about it, right? If you do have a hangover, the worst thing you can do is sit around and feel bad for yourself and not drink and not eat. You need to start building your body back up. Like we're talking the booze hangover now, right? If you're super sore from that athletic competition, the best thing you can do is go for a 20% effort activity. Go for a walk, stretch out, do some light workout stuff. That'll get you better quicker. Same thing goes for these mental and emotional hangovers after these big events, with one little caveat. You, the crew, is often going to be responsible for getting that person moving again because that person's tired, man. That person's been burdened and put upon and stressed out and given tasks and given themselves tasks over and over and over and over and over again for the past 3 months or the past year if they're on probation. For a little bit of time, drive the pace for that person. Now, I'm thinking specifically like if they're an acting officer going for lieutenant or if they're lieutenant going for captain, there's a good chance they've been relatively useless to you for that past 3 months they've been studying. So instead of waiting for them to get over it and then come to you and say, hey, we got to do training today. We got to make up these inspections that we missed because I was studying. We got to do this and that and the other. Drive the pace for a little bit. Help them out. Say, hey, boss, we're going to go train at 9 o'clock. We're going to do some donning drills. Why don't you come with us? And it's the first time in 3 months that they might be actually able to say yes. Or, hey, you know what we're doing tonight? We're watching a movie. Come on in. Bring them back in the fold, right? Get them moving a little bit. Bring them back in the fold. Reestablish a normal routine. And just for a little bit, push the pace. Hey, I know you've been busy for a while. Do we have inspections to do? I feel like we have a bunch of inspections to do. Get a little bit of push, right? You don't need to take over. You're not going to become the officer or become whatever. But help them get moving a little bit, okay? Most importantly, and I've mentioned this a few times, celebrate them, okay? Even if you don't like them, celebrate the effort they put in. And probation's a big one, right? Whether you like the person through their probation or you think they're a good fit for your department or not, they accomplished something that the department deems acceptable or exemplary, or the department has said, we want this person to be with us for 25 to 35 years. Celebrate them in the fact that they put forth the effort and they did the work that it took to get to that point. If it's a promotional exam, celebrate the fact that of all the people you work with in the department, a handful test for promotion and a smaller percentage get to the top of the list and get promoted. That person put in the effort for it, stepping forward, saying they want to be a part of it, saying they want to help develop the department, and putting the effort over the past 3 months of studying. Celebrate that, man. Don't let them just finish the test and then fall off into the void without a little bit of recognition. That little bit of recognition helps a lot, because I can tell you from the couple processes I went through, there is a sense of guilt when you're the person studying and pushing, because you've cordoned yourself off for 3 months. You're out of touch with the crew. You're not really helping that much. They say, you know what, he's trying real hard on this thing. We're going to cover him for a little bit. But there is a sense of guilt and a little bit of lack of belonging there. So for you to basically justify their actions, justify the effort they put in, and say, you know what, that was tough for you, but you did a great job and we're still behind you and we don't mind that we picked up for you and now you're back in, this is great. That goes a long way. The inverse of that is, that person, you just leave them and they're like, yeah, great. Can you get back to work now? Because that was really a pain in the ass for the past 3 months when you abandoned us. Celebrate, right? They did this big thing. They put forth this big effort. Celebrate, move on together, push the pace for a little bit, and we're all good, man. All right, guys, I hope that made sense. Did that make sense? I've felt that hangover before. I felt it during physical events and after promotional testing a few times now. It's a real thing, and you're going to get that through projects, through anything you're trying to pursue in the department or in your personal life that takes a considerable amount of effort and attention and commitment for a while. You're going to have that hangover afterwards, but you can help it, right? You can help get through it with a little bit of planning, a little bit of thinking past it to things you want to do once it's over. And then from the outside in, you can help the person through that by helping them take over for a little bit, push the pace, assimilate that to the physical stuff. Get them out on a walk after the marathon, right? Help them stretch after the marathon. Help them get back in the fold after a promotion or their probationary year, and set the tone, set the pace, set the routine. It's all good, man. All right. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Thanks for listening, hanging out, listening to me ramble. If you like the show, if you want to buy me a new mic because you hate the way this one sounds, because I do, go to 4thshiftfirefighter.com, number 4thshiftfirefighter.com. You can hit the buy me a coffee button. You can check out my affiliate links, buy stuff through them. That gives me a little kickback too. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Keep being a 4th shift firefighter and keep on working towards being more capable and durable on the job and away from it. See ya.